back again with Red.
Yo.
And 11.
Hi.
And we are talking today, after we get our embarrassing or death-defying topic out of the way, our main topic will be unsatiation. What does that mean? It's like when you just can't satiate your own desires. It's greed, human greed. Do we ever have enough? If I'm 95% happy, but I know that OLED TV will make me 99.9% happy, and then I get it, will I actually be 99.9% happy? When will I get to 95 again? Have we lost anybody yet? Are you guys still there?
Still here. I can identify.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Thanks for being with us again.
Heroes of
humility, 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 humility. This is not a charade. This is real. These words you are about to hear are coming from real humans on a mission to save the human race from itself. Buckle up while these delusional heroes of humility, aka hoes, attempt to right the wrongs in everyday human behavior. You guys doing okay? It's been a long time since we've been in the studio.
Yeah.
We like to record these sometimes close together. We'll send some pictures out on Facebook to give you just, we think it's interesting. We could be wrong. Sometimes we have been in the past. A bird's eye view, a look behind the curtain so that you can see what it's like in the studio, what we think and what we've made it like. I don't know what's so funny. I think I'm really talking about some good stuff that people I think are interested in. You know?
Yes. Did you show the listeners your comb? We did get to meet your comb today.
It's not a comb as so much as a tool. It's a tool to
yes,
because my hair's gotten pretty long, so I have to have something on the standby and ready. Let's not get into that. It's kind of embarrassing. We did talk about
some of us
things
don't
I
have combs or tools
in
like
the
that.
Past. I mean, that's everybody has.
Yeah,
their
I don't
tool.
have one.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean, this one's mine. You can get your own.
And this kind of goes to the topic, like, where did you start with your combs to go to this level? Because this seems like Top Gun quality.
I don't want to get into it too much.
Comb.
I think I said that in a way that was crystal clear a few seconds ago, but I will bears repeating. I will say that the gal that had cut my hair, she suggested I use a particular type. I've used it, and it's better because it doesn't pull on the longer hairs, and it gets in there. Is anybody listening to this? Dude, I can't even stand this.
Holy crap, dude.
What about you, dude? You've got to shave every day. I've never seen a stitch of hair. Is that the right thing? I've never seen
a stitch of hair.
Even small little, no topography. It's like a baby's bottom, dude, on your face.
No, it's actually quite rough right now.
Really?
I don't shave as much as I probably should.
It doesn't show up much. I can't see you ever growing a beard though.
I did try and it was kind of scary. It was kind of
Is it patchy or
pedophile looking? I guess it just wasn't
That's too bad.
full enough and maybe not
what she said.
testosterone enough.
All right.
If that's even a word.
Testosterone.
It's hard to get
The
it to
San
come
Francisco tree.
Well, look at 11's got a beard. He doesn't usually have that much. And what's cool is it's gray in the same areas. It's
equal
symmetrical.
proportional.
Yeah,
yes.
the gray is symmetrical.
So you're saying it's amazing.
Let's
my
not get
beard
crazy.
Yes.
is amazing.
Let's not get crazy.
No, see, and you do shave regularly.
I don't.
You don't?
No, I shave. I try to do like once or twice a week.
You know what? I trim my face because I feel like I have sensitive skin.
That's what I can see that. I know you do.
You know, when those times when we have certain times at work where we're supposed to shave.
Get into it.
And it just brings fire to my neck.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I got to tell you a secret. I'm going to tell you a secret right now. This is going to help you and anybody else
butter.
listening. I hope if you're driving, be careful.
If it's coconut butter, I'm leaving.
Well, you're going to, I mean, if you leave, you're going
to miss out.
So what I do is I don't like to use any soaps that are harsh, but I'll just kind of wash my face once. And there's a soap that doesn't have, I want to say it's like the Dr. Bowman or it's got something like that in title, but
Dr. Broman.
Yeah,
Broman
you can
soap.
get it. That's my invention. If that's not out there, I'm going to call Soap Bro Man. I use the soap that doesn't have it's like Castile soap. And I put that on my face and then I lather it up and then I shave. Now, you can tell when your skin has gotten this is ridiculous. But if your skin has gotten too dry and you feel like I can't wash it again, I stopped washing every single day. I don't wash every day now.
Okay, I was going to bring that topic up of
no, you're being funny because the listeners can't see or hear
things of humility.
Yeah, they're not putting the nonverbals
and we're not getting proper washing.
No, you're kidding because I smell like. Let me see. How do I smell? This is my own perception. I smell a little bit like. Well, I smell like coconut.
Coconut.
Yeah, because there's a lot of coconut in different places. Let's not get into all the places, but I put coconut on. So what I do, this is what's going to soothe your skin.
Oh, soothe my skin. Yes.
After you shave, you don't want to put a lot. You want to do this after you shower. Or I shave, shower, and then I'm good to go. And I take a tiny bit of coconut, a real coconut oil, unrefined virgin coconut oil. Okay? Coconut oil that has not been violated. Coconuts. Yeah, it has not been violated. You put that coconut, just a tiny bit on your face, and it's better than aftershave or anything like that. It reduces any kind of irritation or redness, and it's good for your skin. I don't put coconut oil on my skin every day. That would be too much.
I thought that was part of the morning regimen.
No, that's once you put it on, it's not until after I shower again. But I'm not showering every day.
Oh.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So how does I'm trying to think of, because if I put coconut oil on my face, I feel like it would be very shiny and glittery.
Let me explain something to you
okay.
about coconut oil. Anytime you're ready, 11. I just don't want anybody to feel left out.
All right, guys. See you later.
If you look, coconut oil has a very small molecular structure.
Okay.
Okay. It's one of few oils like argan oil that can more easily penetrate cells. Okay. Some will argue. Now, those that are immature are going to laugh because I said penetrate. Okay. But this is a mature conversation about oil. Okay. This is not an immature discussion about oil. It's a mature one.
This is very mature.
So when you put a little bit of that oil on, you rub it on. You don't want to put too much and you don't want to do it too often. You're going to clog your pores. It goes in. But anyway, it's nice for shaving. That's why my skin, when I do shave, and that's why I don't like to shave too much. If you shave and wash your face too much, you're going to have more of that. I'm helping you. This is helpful. So slow down on all that. Use the coconut. I'll show you the wash before. We'll put it on Facebook. I think it's going to help people.
Wow.
I didn't even plan to help people.
Look at what a service you provide to the community.
I know.
And it's free of charge at this point.
It is free because we don't have any commercials. We mentioned one person I wanted to advertise because this guy made this amazing arcade cabinet cocktail table that we have. It's called Awesome Arcades. But other than that, we don't really push anything. I think we get enough commercials in our lives. Did we lose anybody? I feel like I need to keep asking.
Hello.
Well, here's the thing. Today's topic, do you guys remember what today's topic was? I said it earlier. I'm testing you. It had to do with
satiation.
Yeah.
Unsatiation.
Like, and I forgot to tell you what my embarrassing. Okay. What's your...
Don't even look at me today. Don't even look
11,
at me.
have you had anything that went sideways recently or you've...
Yeah. Rocket League.
I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared now. I don't know what he's going to say.
Man.
We play Rocket League, man.
2 nights in a row.
We have set...
Just
we say
shit
things,
the fucking bed.
Oh, yeah. We didn't do well either. We got beat. I don't like getting beat in games, even though I know it's supposed to be for fun. You can only go one of two ways in Rocket League.
We could win 10 in a row, and if we lose one...
That's the one you remember.
This dude's over there like...
Yeah. I'm intense, dude.
I need their IP
and
addresses.
Ooh, man. If you think, you know what? I heard somebody say something in a pep rally once before we played a game. I admit I was juvenile.
A pep rally? What was this in the 20s?
It was just that was
I don't remember pep rallies when I was in school.
This was actually just a gathering of the minds for people that were going to go.
You
out
didn't play football,
so
you didn't need any pep.
All right. It was before I went out and played, and a guy said, "If there is another team that has the audacity." And he spoke like this, and I thought, wow, this guy.
He said, profound.
I think he said something like the unmitigated gall to come to the grass and step on it on our football field. He said that's not right. And I'm pissed just talking about it. and so should you be. And dude, when he was done, I was pissed. And I was thinking,
and it's never left.
It's not, that intensity, like that somebody would come and step on, and I was like, that's right. These people are going to step on our football field, man. That's the one we run. Like, it's okay for me to run on the grass, and mess it up, but not, how dare these other guys to come up here, 4A, 5A, whatever schools they are. So that's kind of stayed with me. It's too bad because it carries over into our evening, some shenanigans. And when we're playing people and they do something, and I can tell they're toxic, I can tell they're very, they're very difficult people, and they beat us, and they do little things that I don't like the look of on this in the field, in the game of play.
Wow.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Oh, dude, I get ballistic. Yeah, it's not pretty. It is laughable, but not when it's happening.
Not in the moment.
Not in the moment, man.
Dude, I can't see that out of you. Usually you're just so nice. The competitiveness is just
dude,
getting the best of you.
He's completely different.
Completely
different animal.
I feel bad, dude. I say stuff. I don't even.
He passive aggressively wishes people don't get bladder stones.
Yeah, I'll say, I hope that guy doesn't get a stone in his bladder. And he knows what I mean. He knows that I'm really wishing that they get a stone. Now, that's awful because that's not good. That's a painful
That's
thing.
very threatening.
Yeah, that's a horrible, painful thing to happen.
You might have to lock up a few of these lightsabers when you're playing Rocket League because it could be a danger.
I'm hoping people get stones. I'm
It's
yelling.
It's
at the
pretty
screen.
funny to witness.
People that have walked by the room I'm playing in will be like, what's going on in there? And I said, I'm doing battle. And in fact, you are out there enjoying the freedoms that I'm fighting for in here. Right? So just
think
get
about
off your
that.
high horse of judgment for a second.
Wow.
And appreciate that if I wasn't beating the tar out of these little kids or these other, 30 and 40-year-old guys,
Infidels.
that they would be running around being very, insolent out there in the world. But I'm teaching them some humility, right? I'm teaching them how to take a loss. And when I don't give that lesson and I get it, it doesn't go well. And I get upset.
Do as he says,
Yeah.
not as he does.
Exactly.
Wow.
Things can only go one or two plays.
You must know my boss.
You can only get second place in Rocket League. And second place is Loserville. Population, me and my bro 11. And when that's the town,
last night,
yeah,
redemption.
yeah, dude,
Redemption.
we won like how many in a row?
I
lost
don't, it
track.
was
It
ridiculous,
was a ton.
dude.
Yeah, it was a ton in a row. I mean, gosh, what an enjoyable and entertaining
We
and
won.
engaging listening for the audience to hear about our exploits in Rocket League. How exciting this must be.
It's ridiculous, I know.
It is, but it happens.
But it's a thing. It's
a
how we
thing.
hang out,
Yeah,
you,
it's just-
you can't do it during the week. Everyone works and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
So we get online for a couple hours.
Blow
every
off some
night and
steam,
Blow off
man.
some steam.
It's healthy.
And wives are in bed and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
we stay up later.
Sitting
Why not?
in there,
You know?
my tidy whities, just trying to.
Oh,
Just kidding,
is
I
that
don't wear
in the
those.
chair that 11's sitting in?
No, dude, I don't wear. I'm just kidding. I don't wear. those.
Oh, is that
I
burning
don't wear.
smell?
First of all, I'd like to correct something. I'm
Burning
kidding. I don't
coconut
wear
smell.
tidy boxer briefs, but we don't need to get into that. But the thing is, yeah, we're engaged in battle, dude.
I'm usually butt naked with a rager.
Damn.
And by rager, do you mean? Wow.
Wow.
Interesting. We had a lot of lightsabers in our last photo for Heroes of Humility. I'm not sure I like the way those came out, but
No, the reality
they're
was
accurate to scale. is
Only
what I'm
one person was allowed to hold it. The rest of
Well,
us
that-
were.
I'm used to
only
holding
allowed.
something that has a great deal of, danger.
We weren't
It's
permitted to
very
hold.
dangerous.
These are collectibles, and we're not permitted.
I don't like anybody looking at my lightsabers too close, and I also don't like anybody touching them without gloves on. And you can take that
Yeah.
and spin it however you want.
Yeah, fingerprints.
This. Let me see. Do I have batteries in this guy? Look at this. Nope.
No,
batteries.
see,
Well, that was awkward.
That's yeah.
All right, let's pretend like that didn't happen. Yeah.
Damn.
So whatever, dude. I had an embarrassing
notch.
story. I'll tell. I mean, when it's my turn to talk, I guess.
Okay, not yet.
It's always your turn.
Hold. I like that scene in Braveheart where he's like telling all the guys to hold, and they're waiting,
Oh yeah.
and you're like, holy sh! This is the second time I talked about Braveheart. Last episode too. I love that scene because that teaches you about patience. When you see an army of raging Englishmen about to kill you and your fellow countrymen. And you're like, this one guy who he's been out in the thick of it. And he says, hold. And you're like, okay, I'm going to hold, dude. I'm going to hold. But do you see what's coming at us? It's a lot of danger. And then those guys have those spears. And then he says, now, or something like that. And then they hold the spears up and all the horses and all the Englishmen, they just get impaled. And you're like, oh, it's genius. You kind of feel bad for the horses. Because it's not like they.
That was after they lift up their kilts and flash the Englishmen.
Yeah, they did a lot of. There was a lot of tactical good stuff in that one. That's all the stuff I'd like to do. And you don't fight like that anymore, right? Where everybody just lines up and then the other guys line up. I could see there's some good tactics in the way William Wallace orchestrated that whole thing.
Look at this, dude. This is so.
Yeah, I really hurt people's brains today with us already. We're only into this like 16 minutes.
Are you gonna wear a kilt? At my wedding?
If you want me to. In fact, I know you're going to have a retirement party. I'm going to probably wear something. I was going to wear something.
I should make a
theme?
Yeah.
Like a theme retirement.
We'll do a Highland party, man.
There you go.
Damn, where would I get a kilt, though?
There's got to be a store around here.
I was thinking, if I just
kilts are like, there's so much fabric involved. It usually takes forever to get one.
This is going to be a difficult retirement party.
Well, you have like a lot of uniform school girls around here. I'm sure there's a store that feeds them that type of material and outfits.
I don't like where this is going. Yeah, I think we're in danger zone right now. I'm going to go ahead and steer us out of danger zone.
You have a very girly waist. You probably could easily find a nice Catholic
We went from danger
uniform
zone to now I just don't like this zone at all.
Could be passed as a kilt.
Yeah, I was thinking I could just wear a T-shirt around my waist, put
a diaper
through the head, of a shirt that I don't like, the neck area, and just wear it around my.
He's just going to borrow his wife's plaid skirt.
Oh, that would be better off. That's what I'm kind of talking about. He's going to show up
like a Catholic schoolgirl.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought I steered us away from this.
No.
I thought I steered us away. I'm sorry, listening audience.
I could see that. Pigtails.
All right. Well, so this is something that happened to me. It's a little bit, it doesn't necessarily lead into our topic, and one of the things we're going to be discussing in an upcoming show is maybe people that you see and you just wonder, has that person had a laugh today? Are people going too long without a laugh? And how long can you go without a laugh, right? I was invited to a party. It was a birthday party. And it was a bowling scenario, okay? Not too long ago. It was a good time. I was having a good time. But I started to have too good of a time, and I was joking around, and I wasn't bowling a good game. And I honestly, like I do, I get competitive. And I think I blacked out a little bit, and I might have said... I might have said something...
How crazy did this get?
It was kind of quiet. I heard a deep, breath, and I think it was quiet enough because when I said... This is the worst birthday ever.
This was a little kid's birthday party.
No, it wasn't a kid's birthday, but it was somebody's birthday. And I said, this is the worst birthday ever. Now, I, in a way, realized that the insanity, and I thought, that's kind of funny, right? Obviously, it's not even my birthday, and I shouldn't be yelling at how it's the worst birthday ever, but I was not bowling a good game, so I yelled it, and the person whose birthday it was came over and quietly said to me, that wasn't very nice.
Oh.
Now, if you've ever been the distributor of a funny that didn't go off funny, it's not a good feeling, dude.
Oh.
And now I saw some other people laughing when I said it, but they kind of had the similar sense of humor. But the thing is, there weren't a lot of people that had similar sense of humor as me there. Now, I haven't been to too many other parties from that.
I could see
now,
that.
I did get, I was invited.
Who cares?
But the thing is,
it's all in the context. If they don't understand it, then
I know
you can't hang out with that person.
It still made me feel bad, but I really like the person whose birthday I went to, and I'm not just saying that because this is being broadcast internationally, but I really do. And I felt bad, but I thought, oh my gosh, I was just joking around, and it kind of stung that the person didn't get it. It was awkward, man. How do you clean that up? I mean, you can't really clean that up. And do you say, well, see, it's not my birthday, so it's
Yeah.
your birthday. It's your
was
birthday,
a joke,
and
man.
I'm saying it's the
I'm
worst
obviously
birthday ever.
acting like I'm 5 years old.
Yeah.
Being stupid.
I mean, if you know me, that's not too far off the way I am out all the time. So it's like this idiot is just, he's saying he doesn't really think it's the worst birthday ever. He's lucky he just got invited, and he knows that, but it didn't register that way. And I was like, oh, snap. So kind of an embarrassing, kind of a story, a tale to tell your grandkids.
Yeah, I could, yeah.
I mean, do you see, has that ever happened to you guys though, where you just kind of fall into a situation where you're like, I think this is going to be hysterical. This is going to be the best. And then the execution, I don't know if it's the execution that doesn't go right because I'm a egomaniac. I just assumed that wasn't the problem either. And then I eventually realized, well, this person just doesn't have sense.
Yeah, no, that's happened to me. I can think of one time where I had some friends at work, the type of job I was doing. It was older ladies and another female. So all three females. And they were talking about, oh, yeah, their weekend or whatever, and it was Monday night. And I don't know if I was in the mood or what, or I was talking to my bro or something like that. But, we're bros here, and we've talked about, oh, yeah, you giggle when somebody says penetrate or something. I was in that mindset, and she talked about something on her date night. And this is a lady that was probably in her late 50s, early 60s. And I kind of took it there, and they all looked at me like I was a creep.
Wait, what'd you say?
I can't even remember, but it was something like she was talking about date night, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I bet I said something dirty," and I probably because if it was in a group of guys, we probably would have laughed, but because of my environment,
you let your guard down too. It sounds
and
like.
When they looked at me, I was just like, "Oh," I guess it just kind of came out involuntarily. And then they looked at me, and then she had to come after lunch and tell me that she felt kind of insulted felt bad about it. And then so that I'm like, oh, you know what? I was trying to be funny, and I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because it was like, yeah, it should have been something innocent, but I should have learned my audience a little bit better.
That happens to me all the time. But to be fair, my family from Scotland and all that stuff, their humor's so crude, and that's how I grew up. My dad's one of 10 kids, and all the cousins, 50 or more, who knows? Everyone's just like that, and everyone just talks shit to you. Everyone, it's bad. It's like if you went there, you'd be like, oh my god, they all hate each other, but they don't, and everyone laughs the whole time. But it's where I got such a crude humor thing. It's like, saying stuff that makes other people uncomfortable makes me laugh. But sometimes it's like, all right, that's a little too far,
Yeah.
But and if I said that with my guys on the team, or if I said it with you guys, you'd fucking laugh. Or
yeah, exactly. And I think that's where sometimes you take, you didn't think you took your thing at the bowling alley too far, and a comment you made, you might have not, if you say it at work in front of your boss, or you're like, oh.
There's always that one that you say, and you're just like, oh no.
And it seems like, I don't want to get all political, but it definitely seems like that's kind of been, I was listening to some podcasts with people that I like, and I hear that they complain about these topics a lot because people seem to struggle with being able to be funny, just to be funny, just to make people laugh, a good-hearted desire to bring people into a positive place for an hour, 2 hours, or whatever, however long they're up there. They're just meeting this kind of resistance. This is an impediment to people being able to laugh, is that it might go beyond just personalities. It could be other things. People are sensitive. They're uptight about. I don't know. But
no, yeah, and I think you're kind of talking about something that even my wife and I have talked about. Some of this, like the comedic actors, or whether it's just a movie or just a stand-up comic, how they've had to kind of maneuver these different times where everybody gets offended nowadays, and it's like, you think back to like the Eddie Murphy Raw and Dave Chappelle. And I mean, I remember watching that the first time, and you're laughing your ass off.
Oh, it's great
and it was crude.
Yeah,
it was fantastic humor. And you think about it now, it's kind of rare we don't have that type of, because everybody's, you said something that
offended by everything.
And it pisses you off because you can't get any enjoyment.
And I'll prove that we have more in common than we do apart. And I like looking for those just in the silence of my own thoughts sometimes, because I think that's where we find the better part of valor in our societal exchanges. We're looking too often at the differences. one show that I think a lot of people can find common ground on is The Office. Okay. This show is hysterical and it's brilliant.
My family's at home watching it right now.
I'm like almost jealous, right? It's like,
I kind of am.
It's the best. And I heard, because they wanted to do another one, that Steve Carell, and maybe with some foresight and wisdom, said, we can't. And he was opposed to it because he says we couldn't make people laugh again with the same jokes. Yeah. They wouldn't get it. But I beg to differ, Mr. Carell, and this is how. Because everybody is still watching The Office and they're still laughing about it. So maybe there is something to it. Now, I think there's also a fear that they'll make it and it won't be as magical as the first one. But the idea that we can't laugh at things that we used to laugh at or whatever, I get a small part of that, but I think we've taken it too far.
Well, yeah, because like we were just talking about kind of during the break that the show Knight Rider, how it was when we first saw that show, or some of these shows so that we constantly bring up from the 80s.
Ooh,
Airwolf.
Yeah,
Airwolf,
and how
Street
like
Hawk.
You knew that it would, when this show came on as a young guy, that it was like, dude, everything around me does not exist. You hear the Airwolf helicopter sound music coming on, you're like, dude, you just get amped up when you listen to it. And think about it now, like, none of our kids have any shows like that.
Right.
And how come those shows were so fantastic? How come they're not playing them like Seinfeld? Yeah. How come Knight Rider isn't just easily accessible to some of us that have kids and like, dude, you know what kind of show this was? Like the Knight Rider sound from the front of the car. I do a bad impression of
Butchered it, but I know.
But exactly, and you were kind of like, like, they don't have these type of shows nowadays.
About this on our Facebook page because I just started noticing that there was some page that pushes out clips from Knight Rider, and you had forgotten. Now, there's some shows that when you watch them again, they don't have the same enjoyment factor. You know, you see them like, oh, wow, but you still have a little bit of that nostalgic lens that you're looking through and you enjoy it. Knight Rider still has some components of enjoyment, man. When you watch those videos of that car jumping, and those are real stunts.
It disappoints me because don't get me wrong. I did watch Baywatch when I was younger, but
of course you did.
You know, Hasselhoff was in that show. But in the same token, how easy is it for me to go on and stream?
I know.
You know, I mean, but I guess I'm mirroring that.
Well, Red also read Playboy for the articles. So
of course, you know.
Just kidding.
But what I'm saying is Hasselhoff was in both, right? Yeah. So how come, to me, Knight Rider was much more of an enjoyable show.
Yeah.
As far as being younger and more impressionable than Baywatch, but I can find Baywatch easy. What is cancel culture canceling some of these like A-Team? How come A-Team's not on?
Yeah, it's hard.
Exactly.
Right?
The A-Team, because
blowing up stuff is like
I probably got a love for that from the A-Team.
Yeah.
I was out there with M80s trying to blow stuff up. I used to tie like nickels to them and watch them sink down in the water.
Is that what it is now?
That may not be the best advertisement or push for why we should put A-Team back.
But I mean,
you're true.
But is that? But think about it. If we're raising the new generation forward, and it's all Sesame Street, can you imagine what your whole? Think about your childhood and all the adventures you'd have if you only watched like Sesame Street and Barney.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I know we'd be missing a lot.
Because you see the A-Team, you see the Dukes of Hazzards jump a big wash.
Going out,
you go outside and go jump your bike.
Yeah. Well, go out like exploring and walking through the trees. You know what I mean? Like doing all this weird stuff
right?
Because you kind of got hyped from watching the A-Team.
Yeah, right. It would hype you up. Right. It would hype you up. And now that's what I'm saying. These kids nowadays don't. I can't think of any shows that would even be half of the shows that we came up of, and you can't even watch the reruns.
Well, there's another important point here is that a lot of those shows incorporated, for whatever reasons, whether because they were pressured to do it or because it was art imitating life, or it was one of the components you had to have to get your show watched on one of the 3 networks, they all had something in common, and that was at the end, they always left you with a feeling of goodwill. Because they incorporated some message, some moral message that helped direct your compass. And when you're like a 5, to 10-year-old boy or girl, and you see something like that, it gives you a little extra guidance beyond what you might just be getting at home.
Absolutely. I mean, you can think about shows to movies like Karate Kid. There's all, did he kick butt in the movie? Yeah, but there was like a moral to the story. Like there's controlled
and also,
responsibility in us to having this skill. And you're oh, wow.
And I think I could see how in some ways, this is probably deep for Heroes of Humility, but I think in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s, it started to evolve where there were different roles played by women where maybe earlier some of those roles were different. I remember watching The Bionic Woman, Wonder Woman.
I can't remember the name of
Linda Carter.
Yeah.
And then Charlie's Angels.
Dude, Charlie's Angels was a rerun that I used to watch all the time.
Yeah, those were good shows, and they were, I guess, what you would call a strong, empowered person playing a heroic role like you saw on the A-Team, but being done by the opposite sex. And people didn't get into this complicated discussion about it because it just was what it was. And I would think that girls came away watching that thinking, oh, well, it's cool. There's some women that are still representing some of the same things I might see done on, the A-Team, but just in a different way. I think there was a special time. I'm sure that people could find some problems with it, but I didn't see those problems because I was 5 years old and I was taking the best out of it. I'd like to think, and every show had a happy ending.
But I think you're kind of hitting the point on the head. What I'm meaning is, if nowadays is everybody so concerned to making sure that nobody watching this film or show gets offended at any point, you lose some sort of movement with the movie, with the show, because like, oh, I can't show this car jumping that with the two guys in it, and it has to have the female in it. Maybe she should drive. Yeah, it's kind of like there's too much thought in there. It's just like you just got to make it happen, right?
The story. Yeah.
And nowadays, I guess maybe that's what's ruining some of this stuff. I mean, because like you said, we kind of tend to bring up the shows that maybe like the A-Team and Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, was there not females that had a strong role in there, like Daisy Duke? I mean, people would make fun of her because she had the short shorts. Nowadays, that was kind of seen as a sexist role, but she had a response, and she did quite a few of the tasks, and she got them out of trouble.
You know what's interesting is if you actually talk or you've listened to interviews with some of those women that have played those roles, they didn't have those perceptions of difficulties that other people seem to place on those characters. So Catherine Bach, I think, is one of them, and I think that there was something even more special about the women in a way, in those shows, because they were tongue-in-cheek and clear that their sexuality or their appearance was being utilized. But it was like they were so much above it, because while it was a component of their character, they brought this ability to supersede that. They were loved in a way that they were impervious to any negative judgments because of it. Like, it's hard to explain.
Well, think about the things, and I can think exactly what you're talking about with Daisy Duke, where people would think because she wore short shorts that was kind of gender bias and stuff like that.
And that was all that was.
How many times did she pull over on the side of the road, lift up the hood, and she'd get the dumb bad guys going, oh yeah, let me go help her out, because she looked the way she looked. Yeah. And she used that as a power of hers. And for good, right? Overall, the Duke boys won.
Asses in the bar.
Yeah. Exactly right. So to me, it was like, oh.
Have you ever driven a Jeep, man? Those Jeeps have no good. They don't have a very good center of gravity.
And it was a stick shift, right?
Yeah, she manhandled that. Women handled that Jeep, man, like a hero.
She handled it.
Yeah, she handled it. But exactly, and I think sometimes, like whether it's comedy or the shows now, it's so sterilized and washed out because there's so you're okay. Do we meet this agenda? Do we meet that agenda? Are we offending this person? Are we offending that? So it's so sterile. There's no real gumption to the show that like really gets you involved. And us people that have been around a little bit try to keep going back to the things that we saw as a young person, because nowadays it doesn't have that certain flavor to it.
Yeah, right. Probably just saved people's lives with this discussion, because they were like, well, shoot, why can't I find Chips on TV anymore?
Absolutely. That was another one of my favorites.
That was a good one, man. Chips, dude, when I heard that music, that with that 70s synth or that kind of that disco kind of vibe, and now there was some ridiculousness. Ponch was one of the most ridiculous characters, but it was enjoyable. It was entertaining, and it was just innocent. And John Baker was my favorite. He was squared away, professional.
Baker one night.
He was always trying to tolerate Ponch's antics and stuff. It's just a classic. We're always searching for a way to do things better and we're always criticizing things. Why can't we ever just find the good in them and see them maybe in a simpler way and take away the good and leave what might be the bad? I don't think people intended bad stuff. And this again leads us into our topic, which is satiation. We never get the most out of we just never can get enough out of what we've already got. Find the show you have, enjoy it, and if you don't like it, just turn the channel.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. If you don't like it, move on to something you do like, right? Yeah. And not focus on
it's getting
let people enjoy it. If they like it, you want to go see Barbie 5 times, go see Barbie.
You know? Good for you. I think you're right, man.
One of my favorites was Married with Children.
Oh, that was a classic.
I was not allowed to watch that as a kid.
It was like
I had some harsh stuff in it, I guess. But
do you remember everyone like suing that show and everything back then?
It was cutting edge.
It was cutting edge for the time. Yeah, big time. It was a huge. They were pushing the envelope, man, and they really opened the door for all the trashy TV we have nowadays.
Well, I remember even my mom would get on me for watching The Simpsons because some of the humor was crude, and she was like, "That's not a cartoon for little kids. That's a cartoon for adults." And I'm like, they were
pushing the envelope too, but like Married with Children was really because they weren't sticking to the traditional married household thing.
Kind of the Brady vibe of everything's good.
I Love Lucy. You know, like they didn't. It wasn't showing. It was the first one that kind of frayed from that and was just like, we're a fucked up family, but we all love each other.
I think being funny, people that incorporate some intellect into their comedy. I mean, there's different types. When I was just barely enough that I can remember, I don't think it was on. If it was, definitely would have been reruns. You know, like Leave It to Beaver was that kind of a show where you had the stereotypical roles of a husband and wife and kids and stuff, but if you were to watch that show today, maybe because of the change in times, you wouldn't find as many laughs, but you'd find some. I think there was still something for every audience, but you would still find Married with Children funny too. There's just different ways to find stuff funny. And if it's funny, it's funny. I mean, it doesn't...
Or if you don't like it, move on to something else that isn't funny. It would just be like, okay, everybody has to listen to Heroes of Humility. And you're going to laugh at it whether or not you like it or not. No, if you don't like it, there's a millions others to choose from, right?
Yeah. Married with Children just made fun of every stereotype imaginable.
Yeah.
And it really hit hard on... Oh, my God, it was so funny, man.
Well, because not everybody was a Leave It to Beaver family, especially at those times when the economy sucked.
Man.
And
they were just...
had a crappy job.
Yeah.
Well, Married with Children, too, if you think about it in many ways... supposed to be, I guess, in quotation marks, because he was ridiculous. The unsung hero was Al Bundy, right?
Yeah.
But they even made fun of the hero on that show because it's a guy who's living in the past and he's totally enamored with his high school football days at Polk High.
Who could that be?
Yeah, this doesn't remind me of anybody. But it's just this weird...
4 touchdowns in one high school game.
That's not even true anyway. Just the idea of sport was kind of a fun thing, and they definitely played into that. That was the same way they did on the Napoleon Dynamite. Remember where his creepy uncle is trying to set up a video of him.
Was it Mitch? Football. Oh, what was his name?
Rico. Was his name Rico?
Uncle Rico.
And he was setting up a video of his
exploits in his football days.
Yeah, literally by a hill somewhere. I think you can find comedy in a lot of things, and I just think we have to relax, and it's probably better off. I think we don't appreciate some of the difficulties in our own humanity because we're making things more complicated than they need to be. That's the point. And that's why I think we have a hard time finding satisfaction in things, because when you get one Darth Vader helmet, you're going to find out that there's another one because they used 3 different ones in the first 3 movies. And it's not going to be enough to have the likeness.
Then the downward spiral begins.
And you go into a dark hole of just, I have to have the other one. That one, the one in New Hope, was made more out of a gunmetal to look like gunmetal, but the one in Return of the Jedi, that sucker's shiny. I need to have the shiny one. And it's never enough. When is it enough? That's a problem. Do you guys have anything like that you are just...
Many things. And what begs the question is when your loved one brings it up to you and is like, at what point do we stop? Just like I know with car things and things like spending money on, God, those new set of tires, they're sticky. And your wife is like, no. Well, I can guarantee you the next trip that I go to Marshall's or Michael's, do we really need pumpkins? We already have fake pumpkins. Why do I need those pumpkins?
Yeah, there's a lot of different pumpkins, man. If you've gone into Michael's, man,
It's a whole new thing.
I don't know why I know this, but there's way too many. When I was a kid, you just go to the grocery store and everybody's getting the same pumpkin. It was made out of the same size.
Oh, do you have to have, and then all the different candles? Well, we need one that's 6 inches, we need one that's 8 inches, and then one that's 10. In my brain, I'm like thinking, why do we need any of these? But I'm sure she thinks the same thing when we go to the tire shop, and it's like, your car already has tires. Why do you need new ones?
I know. Wow.
So there's
ludicrous,
a constant battle, and I can sure all of us have something that, God, if I just say,
knowing Red, he's got a lot of propensities toward kind of like, call that, what's the word? I know he's on the edge of his seat waiting to see what I say. Fetishes. He looks like a fetish guy.
Oh, thank you.
Whoa.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, he looks like a fetish guy. Dude, what kind of
What are
things,
you into? Feet or?
I don't know. What do you like that that's hard for you, that I got to take it easy?
No,
man.
I guess
I'll
my
go crazy.
my fetish would be the car thing. I just recently got my ass chewed by the wife for spending a little too much money on upgrades.
Now, when you say, like, how does she get on your case? What is exactly does she
confused.
say?
Well, you start. Yeah, everybody's,
You're talking about getting your
never-
ass ate and your
That's
fetish
Oh,
is.
chewed.
Yeah, get your mind
Chewed
out
up
of it.
and spit out. No, oh man, it would turn into, I thought you were only going to get these couple things done, and that bill that you got doesn't really reflect the things that you said. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, because I probably wasn't being forthcoming that there was more things that I had on that bill.
Oh yeah, you've rebuilt some cars because we went to the same guy.
It goes down this thing.
Shout out to Eddie, man.
Yeah.
We love you, and we also love Eddie Jr.
Yeah.
You guys are our favorites, man. Eddie Jr. has been listening to our show.
Oh, this is absolutely, and it's
I'm gonna
great.
hook him up with some wristbands.
And he can identify with me because he has the same sickness of, it can always be just a little bit faster. It can always take that corner just a little bit better. And how can we make that do that? And if your wife is stifling your willingness and your competitiveness, you're kind of like, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
No, there has to be some sort of compromise.
Because,
But you got to live with them. So
and you know what? At the end of the day, and I found this to be with my beauty, is that I didn't realize it sometimes in the moment, but later on I'm like, I'm glad that she talked me off the ledge. I was going a little bit too far near the edge of the cliff, and I was just going to drop trout and jump right into my addiction. And I'm glad she said, whoa.
You described that
take it easy.
very accurately.
I really want the audience to have a real feel for the crazy.
And ladies, that's the best way to stop a man from doing that stuff. You be nice. You say, no. You support them, but then you talk them into waiting a couple of days.
Bring it back a little bit, just a little bit.
And then they either forget about it or...
Yeah, that fourth Darth Vader helmet, sleep on that one.
Absolutely.
But they only have 200 of them, and if I wait, that 200th one might be gone by tomorrow.
And where they get you nowadays is your like Amazon or eBay, where you can, quote, watch something or add it to your list. And then you get that notification, bing, it's on sale. And you're like, it's the lowest price in 30 days. Oh my God, I got to have it.
They did that. You know that this room, I almost got a huge black table made out of that glossy black finish on some of the stuff in here. Anyway, it would have taken up way too much room in here. Luckily, that was something because she said, whoa, slow down.
Scale it back.
Hey,
Pierce.
Kimosabi, take it easy. I was happy. She talked me off the ledge.
Exactly. And I think that's
you're like, I'm going to splurge on this arcade machine.
And then I went and bought something else that was even more expensive. Wow, good point.
She won, man, every time.
Thank goodness for beauty. I would have had that cheaper.
She didn't try to talk you out of this, though.
Originally, she did. And as I sit down and I look at some of the 516
She didn't
games,
try to talk you out of it. Though.
Well, no, she did.
She tried. I thought she wanted you to explain.
She said you shouldn't get that. You're going to play it once and that'll be it.
Not true.
Justifications. I know
now
what you're talking
she
about.
must seem pretty silly because here we are looking at it as a table. But see, I realized, well, let me be honest and fair to her. The way this started is I was going to get one that stood up over there, a standing one.
Oh, yeah.
And then I realized where there's not enough room. And I justified it because I knew we needed a better surface table for our setup here with the podcast.
2-for-1 special.
So then I thought, well, I'm going to get rid of that other table we had, if you remember, wires everywhere. And this will be more aesthetic. It's a part of the 80s vibe that I tend to perpetuate throughout my life. It's the way I exist. And, there's all these games. So anyway, and there's a few games on here that she likes. So
it's good.
It was a win.
I was the same way, talking about upgrading the car. Look that's how much faster our son will make it to school.
Did you really think that was going to work?
I tried. All you could do is try, right?
Okay.
And I usually lose out.
Sounds ridiculous. Does Miss Red listen to the podcast?
I think she does. That
sure
way
she
I
really
can be held
enjoys it.
accountable for all my mistakes.
You're right and he's wrong.
Yeah. I think that we really solve issues. I don't mean this to sound like I'm bragging, but I think we help people out there. I'm going to be sincere for a second because I'm putting a little bit of mustard on it. I think it's good when we used to get together for lunch, and I did with both you guys in different times of our work career, it would bring you out of reality for a second, or at least you could make sense of reality with your buddies. That's what Heroes of Humility is. It's about helping people just kind of laugh for a second. And then the other way is that we might provide a nugget of truth. We're very wisdomous. There's a lot of knowledge that we share. And I say share because I don't have it by myself. I see some smirking. But it's like good, that we get together. And it also is good for us, dude, because we all have our own things and our family needs help with certain things. But this is a moment, dude, where it's just about us. And it allows us to be better for our families and our friends because this is good. I think all people should have this, and hopefully we can bring this to people that may feel a little bit alienated from people or whatever, and they get to have a laugh with us, and we're your bros, or you know what I mean, like
broettes. Yeah. So our female listeners have left for the day.
Probably a while. But, I hope they're there. I hope we have both. We appreciate you tuning in to Heroes of Humility again. Thank you for being here. As always, this is Pierce.
Red.
11.
And you guys take care and be kind.